Hi, I'm Marie Elizabeth Molly, and this is Relationship Alchemy. Today we're talking about tips for better sex. What a fun topic. I love this topic. So the first way to have better sex is to get to know your own body. A lot of us don't fully know. We haven't fully explored our own bodies, touching ourselves all over. There are many erogenous zones besides the genitals that could be happily touched if you knew where they were. So the first step to having better sex is to really get to know what turns you on, what feels good in your body, stroke yourself all over and find out where your most sensitive places are, and then share that with a partner. I also recommend that you read the book, Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. That's spelled Nagoski. It's a great book that talks about female anatomy, arousal, everything involved in turn on for women. And I highly recommend it because it normalizes different types of turn on, different lengths of time that it takes women to get aroused. We don't all take the same amount of time to get aroused. So normalizing your own experience is key for you to be able to relax in the bedroom and have a better time without worrying about if you're doing it right. The second piece is to begin, after you know your own body, begin asking for what you want in bed more directly. I'll never forget, I was at a conference in Dallas and I was sitting at the hotel bar and there were people who were at a different conference that I didn't know at the same table. We were all sharing a table so we could get service more quickly. We needed to eat before getting back into session. And this total stranger, somehow the conversation turned to what I do. And I said, I work with individuals and couples on how to have better relationships and sexuality and things like that. And he said, every single partner I've had, and he was heterosexual, so his partners were women. He said, every single partner I've had just lays there, silent. And it's so much pressure on me because I have to figure out what turns her on. Like, I would love it if women would speak up more. And it kind of broke my heart on the one hand, because there are a lot of very well-meaning lovers out there who would love to pleasure you in the ways that feel good to you, and they're not mind readers. So it's actually a gift. I think sometimes we hold back on asking for what we want in bed because maybe we don't want to impose or have someone feel like they're doing it wrong. But if you can speak up before you already have charge and you think they're stupid, it's going to feel really good. Trust me. So I did not used to do this. So I'm speaking out of experience. I used to wait to say anything like a directional change or a pressure change when someone's touching me, or a position change during intercourse, whatever it was. I used to wait too long until I was already irritated before I would say something. And then what would happen is the irritation would come through no matter how gently I tried to say, hey, could we switch positions? Or, hey, would you move your hand a little to the left? Or a little lighter pressure, please? Whatever it was that I wanted to ask for. By waiting until I was already irritated, all the other person would feel was my irritation. And then that would break the flow because they would feel like they were doing it wrong. And nothing kills desire more quickly than feeling wrong. So I've learned and I've trained myself to speak up at the first inkling, that first moment when I notice, this isn't feeling as good as it was feeling a few seconds ago. Let me ask for a change here before I'm irritated, before I think they're stupid for not noticing, before whatever story comes up in my head about it. Let me speak up here while it still feels good. And that has had my sex feel so much better. Number 3, I suggest you practice touching each other if you're having partnered sex. Do this with yourself if you're having solo sex, but if you're having partnered sex, practice one-way touch without the pressure to give back. This applies to oral as well. So you could set a timer and say, I'm going to touch you for 10 minutes and let's see what feels great. Or you touch me for 10 minutes and let's see what feels great. And when the timer goes off, it's done. You don't have to reciprocate. In this way, you can actually spend some sensual time together without the pressure of intercourse, discovering each other's bodies and discovering your own bodies in concert with each other. This way, you have a sense of what you like and what they like, so that when you do go to let's say to intercourse or to another sexual experience with each other, you already have a sense of like, oh, I know that they like their back touched in this certain way. Now, that's not a given that that's going to be what they want during that particular session of intercourse, but at least you have a map. Practicing one-way touch or one-way oral gives you a map of the erotic zones in your partner's body. So it's not that then this map becomes a 1, 2, 3, like let me push this button and this button and this button, and they should be turned on. Because they can feel, we feel if someone's just trying to push buttons, like, oh, diddle a little here, diddle a little there, okay, let's go. We can feel that, feels shitty, don't do that. But instead, by having a map of what you know already are areas that tend to feel good, in the moment, you can flow with what someone's body is telling you with a little more accuracy because you have the map in the back of your mind. This is also a way to keep electricity alive between you, between intercourse sessions. You could say, hey, I want to go down on you for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Let's set a timer. And you just do that. And you kind of heat up the connection and then you move on. It's a really fun way to keep the heat alive between you without the pressure of it having to end up at intercourse every single time. The fourth is, if you're one of the majority of women who don't climax from penetrative sex, most women actually don't climax from penetrative sex. They need clitoral stimulation in order to be able to climax. Then ask for that. Ask for clitoral stimulation. Ask to be stimulated all the way to climax before intercourse even begins. In this way, your vagina also will be much more ready to receive. It'll be more open and relaxed and wet and juicy and ready to receive intercourse. And you won't be hung in your own mind worried about or hung up on, oh, am I going to come or not? Am I going to come or not? Am I going to come or not? If you get that out of the way before you even get to intercourse, you can have a much better time, and you can relax and not worry about whether you're going to come from intercourse or not. This takes also the pressure off the partner to have to last a certain amount of time, because it often takes us longer to come than a male partner needs if we are with a man. And you could also bring a toy in to the mix. So tell your partner in advance, hey, I need clitoral stimulation in order to come. I want to bring a toy in so that when we're fucking, I can use the toy on my clit, or you can use the toy on my clit, so that I can climax with you. We can climax together. If that's what your body wants and needs, ask for that and play with that. And if your partner has a problem with bringing toys in the bedroom, there might need to be a little bit of education beforehand about that. It doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong or anything is wrong with your sex. It's just that you're one of the majority of women who don't climax from penetrative sex alone, that you actually need clitoral stimulation to get you there. This is perfectly normal. And in fact, the majority. So you might have to educate your partner, if you're with a male partner, on that in advance so they don't take it the wrong way, like they're doing something wrong, which again, kills desire. It will tend to kill a hard-on too. So these have been tips for better sex. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and that you have lots of juicy stuff to go play with now. If you have any questions, message me, reach out on social, and I'm happy to answer them. Maybe I'll even create a future podcast around your questions. Until then, remember that a great relationship starts with you.